Hi, my name's Lee Matthews and I'm a physiotherapist, and this is Pilates Rehab Relax. And today I'm going to guide you through a gentle Pilates routine laying on a mat. If you're not safe getting on and off of the floor, then by all means do it laying on your bed at home and work at your own level of ability. If you find that something's uncomfortable, just do what feels right. I'm going to aim to do about 5 repetitions of each of the exercises. You might just do 1 or 2. And don't feel that you've got to complete the whole routine either. It might be just do the first couple of exercises and then come back to it on another occasion. And don't forget, if you enjoy what you see today, click the like button, subscribe to the channel if you want to keep up to date with all my latest content, and leave a comment. I always appreciate any words of encouragement or ideas for new videos. So let's get started. So I'm using a folded blanket. You might have a pillow or something similar. Bring your feet so they're about hip width apart. So there's a small gap between my feet and my knees, and think about that nice position of wide collarbones and that lengthening of the spine. So a nice long neck. And first of all, let's focus on centering the pelvis. So I'm just going to tilt the small of my back into the mat slightly and then away. And just gently find that nice position where it's horizontal there. So if I have a triangle there, it's in a nice horizontal position. And throughout the exercises that we do today, we'll have this focus on engaging our core. So if I go to draw my tummy button in towards my spine, what we find there is that it works those muscles a little bit more. So it's a bit like you were trying to do up a tight pair of trousers. So I draw the tummy button in, and with a lot of the exercises, I'll be engaging the core, and also I might synchronize it with my breathing as well. So first of all, we're going to start with a modified single leg stretch. I'm going to bring my leg out and away from me, then let the foot drop to the side and draw it back in again. So it's almost like I'm making a little bit of a circle there, out and in. And again, we'll try and do 5 of those on each leg. So starting with your right leg, out and away, drop to the side and back in again. And then when you've done 5 on one side, the same on the other. So out you go, drop to the side and back in again. So it's just a nice way of starting to get the legs moving and working the hip a little bit. And they're just gentle flow movements there, so hopefully it's nice and relaxed. There we go. The next movement we're going to do is a windscreen wiper movement. So bring your feet slightly further apart. So my feet are on the edge of the mat there now. And what I'm going to do is let my knees drop all the way over to one side and then back to the middle again, and the same to the opposite side. And again, let my knees drop over to one side, back to the middle again, and over to the other side. And when you've done about 5 of those, bring yourself back to the start position again with a small gap between your legs. So let's do a little bit of hamstring stretching with a little bit of ankle movement with that as well. So with your right leg, bring your knee up towards the sky, support underneath your thigh, and what we're going to do is a gentle hamstring stretch. So I'm going to extend the knee slightly, bring in the foot up towards the sky, and then let's wave hello with our ankle. I'm going to do about 5 little wiggles on one ankle and the same on the other side. Great. Well, let's move on to doing the single leg stretch. I'm going to start off by just doing the level 1 legs, but then we'll do the legs and arms combined, if that's all right. Again, you stick with what's right for you. So with your right leg, let's engage the core and slide that right leg out and away from you, and then back in again. So let's do 5 on one leg and then 5 on the other. So again, engage the core, out we go, and back in again. And you might notice that I've synchronized it with my breathing, so as well as engaging the core, I do the movement on an outward breath. So as I slide the leg away from me, I breathe out. So let's try the same on the other leg. Engage the core. Okay, so that was just doing it with the legs. You can either stop and rest now, you might carry on doing it with the legs, but if you want to let's do 5 more, but this time we're going to use the arms as well. So I'm going to bring my arms up to the ceiling, or up to the sky in this case, and as I slide my right leg out and away from me, keeping those shoulder blades pressed against the mat, I'm going to move my left arm back behind me as well, and back again. And this one I'll alternate, so I do one on one side and then one on the opposite side. So have a go, join in if you want to. So again, let's engage the core. So your right leg and your left arm, and back in again, and the same on the other side. And relax. We're now going to go on to do scissors level 1. So we're going to make sure we're nice and centered with our pelvis, engage that core muscle, and what we're going to do with this exercise, just one at a time, bringing the leg up to that position, a bit like it's resting on a coffee table, and then back down again, and then we'll do exactly the same on the other side. And again, you can synchronize that movement with an outward breath. So here we go. So that was 1. We'll do 5 of those. There we go, so that was scissors level 1. We're going to go back to a favourite, which is the hip twist level 1. I'm going to have myself nice and comfortably in that start position. There's a small gap between my knees there, and I want you to imagine that you've got an imaginary drink balanced on one of your knees. So if you imagine you've got a drink balanced on your left knee, and then what I'm going to get you to do for me is keeping that drink perfectly still so you don't spill a drop. You're going to let your right leg, your right knee just drop out to the side slightly. And this isn't about how far you can go, this is more about maintaining that control so that knee doesn't move at all, that's balancing that drink. So again, You can imagine whatever your favourite drink is, and if you want to, you can even leave a comment and tell me what it was as well, and then I can mention you in another video. So aim for 5 on one leg. And when you've done 5 on one side, let's do 5 on the other. So again, this time your drink will be balanced on your right leg. There we go. So we're now going to move on to doing the hip twist level 2, and this is aimed at mobility. Again, work at your own level. It might be you don't go very far with this one. I'm absolutely happy for you to do whatever's right for you, but bring your feet and your knees back into the midline so they're touching one another. Move your hands a little bit further to the side to create some space. Engage those tummy muscles, and what you're now going to do is letting your knees roll over to the side, so your bottom comes up off of the bed slightly. So my shoulders stay where they are, but my hips come off of the bed, and then back to the middle again. So we'll do 5 to each side. So here we go. Engage those core muscles. That's great. So that was the hip twist level 2. We're going to do one more position laying on our back before we go into side lying, and that's going to be a pelvic tilt. And if you feel comfortable, we'll progress that onto a shoulder bridge. So first of all, engage those tummy muscles, and what I want you to try and do for me is push the small of your back into the floor, and then relax. And again. And if that was enough for you, that's fine. But if you wanted to progress that onto the shoulder bridge level 1, what we're going to do now is 5, where we push into the small of the back there, peeling our tailbone off of the bed. But we're going to actually continue with that movement, lifting our bottom clear off of the bed. So don't push too hard with this, or it could stir up your back a little bit, but work with what's comfortable for you. But we engage those bottom muscles, and it actually does do a little bit of a stretch on the hip flexors as well there. So it's a bit like a Mexican wave. As we do that movement, we engage the core, and on an outward breath, we peel our bottom away from the mat, and then back down again. There we go. So we'll now move on to our side. If you roll onto your side, I'm going to use the support of a cushion there. If you make sure that your neck is in a comfortable place, the classic sort of Pilates position would be to have the arm out nice and straight there, but again, you might find a modification that's more comfortable for you. My knees are bent, my ankles are together, and I'm in a nice straight line between the shoulders, the hips, and the ankles there. So the first exercise we're going to do on our side is the Clam level 1. So again, I'm going to try and keep this bit of my pelvis completely still. So imagine you've got that drink balanced on your belt line now. We're going to engage those tummy muscles, and what we're going to do now is lift one knee away from the other and back in again. So again, we engage that core, we lift one knee away from the other and then back down again. And we do 5 on one side and then 5 on the other. That's great. Well, while we're on this side, we're going to just do a couple of other things. One of them is the side kick. So there's 2 variations of the side kick. We're going to lift our leg up, and the easier version would be to keep the knee bent, and it's like you're trying to draw a horizontal line there. And if you find that's easy and you're more confident, do the same thing but with the leg straight. So again, imagine you've got a paintbrush held between your toes and you're pointing that foot away from you, painting a nice horizontal line there. So the hip stays pretty much still, and it's a movement that's coming from the leg. We don't want that pelvis moving too much here, so we keep this control. And back to the start position. Well, there's one last exercise to do laying on our side, and that's an arm opener. So I'm going to reposition the arm that I'm laying on. I'm going to bring my hands out in front of me like I'm the covers of a hardback book. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to engage those tummy muscles for this one. I'll demonstrate it first of all. And then the uppermost arm, I'm going to just try and paint a nice broad stroke on the sky and back down again. And as I do the arm movement, did you notice that I follow with my head? So I'm looking at my thumb for that arm as it goes up and over. So we do 5 on one side, and then we'll flip over and do the same on the other side. So again, engage the core, outward breath. There we go. So what we do now is we'll flip over and do the very same thing on the other side, so we've had a workout that's even. So again, let's do the clam on this side. We're going to make sure that our ankles, our hips and our shoulders are all in a nice straight line there. You've centered the pelvis and you've got a little bit of support in front of you. Imagine you've got that drink balanced on your belt line, and engage that core and lift one knee up and away from the other and back down again. So we'll aim to do 5 on this side as well. So here we go, there's 1. Okay, and then we need to do the side kick as well. So either with the knee bent, doing that horizontal movement with a bent knee, or with a nice straight leg, whichever you prefer. Let's do 5 nice big sweeping movements with that leg, like we're painting a horizontal line there. So again, it's a really good glute exercise. You can probably feel this in your bottom muscles. And relax again. So we've got one last thing to do on this side, and that's the arm opener, where we were trying to paint the sky. So again, bring your arms so they're out in front of you like the covers of a book. Engage that core muscle. The arm comes up to the sky, and I follow that movement with my line of sight. So go 1. And again, engage the core, outward breath. There we go. So there's one last position we're going to do, and we're going to do that laying on our front. I would suggest that if you've got a nice pillow or a cushion, pop it underneath your hips so you're a bit more comfortable there. And this is going to be swimming, and it's level 1, and we're just going to do the legs with this one. So what we're going to do, you found that comfortable position, hopefully. You can have your head resting on your arms or however you're comfortable. Engage the core muscle, squeeze your glutes slightly, and what I want you to do, as you keep your core engaged, on an out with breath, try and lift up one of your feet slightly off of the bed. So my thighs just come up just a little bit and back down again. And you might use several pillows, you don't have to just use one. And again, the same on the other side. There we go. So we do 5 on each leg of that, if that's okay. So here we go. And there we go, all done. So how was that? Hopefully it was okay, and I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to click the like button if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want to keep up to date with all my latest videos, and leave a comment if you've got any words of encouragement or any suggestions. So hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.